Ladies and gentlemen, a couple days ago, I actually asked y'all, was a movie that y'all like watching, a horror movie that a lot of people might not understand or might think is cringe, awful, whatsoever. And I got a lot of comments, as you can see here. Believe it or not, a lot of these are from TikTok, but I also got a couple from YouTube. And so I decided I'm going to listen to what y'all put and go find out how are these movies. And one of them caught my eye. Thankskilling. Now, I've heard about this one, and I've actually watched it with buddies. However, I decided to return back to it and just figure out, was it really one that would go on this list? And yeah, it would definitely. I mean, it is a horror movie, but it is definitely a funny horror movie. If y'all have no idea what Thanksgiving is about a killer turkey that is basically a god that was summoned by Indians to basically wreak havoc on the pilgrims. It was actually originally done in 1621, but we then jump centuries ahead, to which the turkey comes back after his idol ends up getting peed on by a dog, summoning the turkey again. And that's quite literally the killer's name, Turkey. That's all we know him as. Believe it or not, actually has a bunch of powers and is basically a turkey version of Freddy Krueger. Now, if all of that is confusing, do not fret. I'm going to break it down even simpler. In case you're wondering when this movie was made, it was done in 2008. Specifically, it had a budget of $3,500, and it actually got a cult following when it came out. In fact, it has a sequel, Thanksgiving 3, and actually has a music adaptation in 2013. So I might check those out as well. It gets very, very strange during this movie. Because apparently Turkey is not just a bird. No, he's basically God at certain points. Being able to mess with people's mind, making them hallucinate, being able to shift his body into different ways. Had radiation at one point, and at certain points the movie goes completely sideways with you going, what in the world? Specifically during a love-making scene between Turkey and one of the main five teenagers we are introduced to. Good Girl Christian, Jock Johnny, Ditzy Alley, Redneck Billy, and the Nerdy Darren. In case you're wondering who these five characters are, they're very simple. Good Girl Kristen has a father who's the sheriff and is one of the most idiotic people there is, and has actually one of the funniest scenes known to date.
Thank you, baby.
God damn, Cheryl! That coffee tastes like shit! What'd you do? Take a dump in it?
As a matter of fact, I sure did. I want a fucking divorce!
Alright then.
I just can't help but laugh whenever he starts talking about how the coffee tastes like shit. And his wife says, that's because I did, and shows it. That was honestly the selling point to me of watching this film. Then you have Jock Johnny, who gets a little annoying, I will fully admit. Then you have Ditz Alley, who is kind of the butt of the biggest joke there is about the James Benin Ramsey case. You hear it 9 different times, and it is annoying each time you hear it, but at the same time, it's like, whatever. Then you have Redneck Billy, who reminds me of a lot of one of my buddies, and I can't help but just laugh seeing him. And he's actually got one of the more confusing deaths, as he gets hungry while walking on a sidewalk, finds turkey, and eats turkey.
Billy, come eat me. Come eat me, Billy. I'm gonna taste real good.
it gets confusing just trying to explain it. He legit eats the killer, who then, Alien versus Predator, pops out of his stomach and begins pecking at the heart of him. Very strange.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker. Now that's what I call foul play.
Then you have the nerdy Darren, who during certain points of the film, specifically near the end, makes things a little too awkward, especially with how he sells trying to be a nerd, constantly touching his nose and wiping it on himself, or licking his hand, or sitting as close as he can to the jock. It's very strange. But he's actually the one that kind of sets up everything with Turkey, because we were originally told about this place where Turkey originally resides, almost like a Camp Crystal Lake-esque. And then from there, we get basically told of everything, which ends up being true. So without Darren, there's really not much about the storytelling of the movie. Also in here, we also have Oscar, who is kind of the one that kind of started this, because it was his dog who ended up urinating on the totem. So, yeah, very, very strange with this film's plot. But for the product, you know, how much they had going into this, it being basically independent writing, very good movie to watch. You just got to realize 2008, not a lot of money, as cheap as made possible. And you go into that, you're probably going to look at this more like a comedy. And from there, you're just going to love it. Nice, simple, laughing at it. Times where you get Turkey wearing the sheriff's face, and apparently the sheriff's daughter doesn't realize that he goes from like 5'8" to legit 2 foot.
Oh, hello, sweetie. How are you?
Daddy, you look different.
Oh,
Oh, you got a haircut.
yeah. Aren't you gonna introduce me to your friends?
Of course. This is Johnny
Hey, how you doing?
and Darren
Happy Thanksgiving, Sheriff.
and Billy.
How are you guys?
Dad, we need to use your collection of books. Would you mind showing us to the garage?
Of course. Yeah, no problem at all. I mean, where is it again, honey?
Oh, Dad, you and your rapidly fading memory.
It makes no sense. You also have Turkey getting reanimated through radiation stuff like bio waste in a random trash can. Makes no sense. You get a whole thing with a teepee because of course it's Indians, Native Americans. It is just completely strange. And apparently all this was shot in like 14 days in the summer of 2017 by college students. So huge shout out to Jordan Downey, who was the director, writer, and the producer. Kevin Stewart, who was the writer and producer. Brad Schultz, who also did a lot of the writing for it as well. So, in case you're wondering, that is what this film is. It is as homemade as possible, that gained a following, and made a third one. Second one. I understand a little bit of the third one, but I'll make my own video for that one as well. If y'all like that, y'all let me know. And I will see y'all in the next one. And hopefully, y'all tell me how the editing of this one all is. This is currently being shot on a phone. I don't have my computer and all, so y'all let me know, you know, give me some feedback. Like, subscribe, tell me what you want me to change. Tell me other movies you would like me to see, talk about plot-wise, you know, tell you some stuff about them. Thankskilling, honestly, I'll give it we'll do a 6.5 out of 10, because honestly, for, you know, budget, how long it was shot, and it being a college thing, really good. But compared to some of the big leagues now, nah, it still holds its own compared to the time back then. And it's definitely one of those that is not a horror movie, considerably. It's more of a let's laugh. In case you're wondering, y'all can actually also find this one on YouTube for free, and you can also find it on Tubi and Roku. So there you go. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.